que tiene un presupuesto alto van a exigir un rescate más alto, pero para las otras van a alinear eso y buscar un rescate más pequeño, ¿no? Entonces, el hecho de que una organización, una entidad, un municipio es pequeño no quiere decir que no es un blanco para un ciberataque, ¿okay? Y eso lo que dijo es realmente un comentario de ese señor que fue el director de la CISA, que es la agencia donde nosotros apoyamos una municipalidad, en ese caso en Salvador, en Bahía, donde ellos crearon un plan marco de digitalización de una ciudad inteligente que ya ha empezado hace 2-3 años más o menos. Ya tienen todo el sistema de fibra óptica ya por toda la ciudad, y sobre esta red de fibra óptica están brindando servicios de Wi-Fi en lugares públicos, ¿no? Entonces, por ejemplo, creo que ustedes conocen la ciudad de Salvador por el carnaval, ¿no? El carnaval de El Salvador es el segundo más grande de Brasil, ¿no? Y allá toda la población, cuando va a la fiesta del carnaval, tiene Wi-Fi utilizando ese sistema de forma gratis, ¿no? Y sobre ese sistema, sobre esta infraestructura es que ellos están ahora trabajando en las aplicaciones para sistema de monitoreo de tránsito, sistema de movilidad inteligente. Toda esta base ya está creada y ellos ahora están creando esas nuevas aplicaciones que tienen más visibilidad, inclusive, por ejemplo, con la parte de iluminación de calles de forma inteligente, ¿no? Entonces, eso es un ejemplo de algo que es escalable y que está siendo utilizado por la población de una forma proactiva. ¿Okay? Y finalmente, para todos los que están interesados y que quieren empoderarse, quieren caminar por el tema de las ciudades inteligentes y no están muy seguros si lo que tienen hoy es una infraestructura que está protegida y quieren entender cómo pueden llegar a mejorar su nivel de ciberseguridad para poder brindar este tipo de servicios, acá les ofrezco ahí una ayuda por parte de nuestra compañía, que es una evaluación de madurez que nosotros ofrecemos sin costo y sin compromiso para evaluar en los diferentes rubros que tienen las organizaciones, sea por la parte de TI, sea por la parte de operaciones, sea para evaluación de sistemas en la nube. Nosotros hacemos eso para ayudar a nuestros clientes a crear un roadmap de cómo puede ir mejorando gradualmente bajo el presupuesto que tienen su nivel de ciberseguridad. ¿Okay? Entonces, creo que acá está el QR code por si acaso quieren obtener más informaciones. Si ustedes no confían en el QR codes, que de hecho deberían no confiar mucho en lo que encuentran por ahí, ahí está la dirección de correo que pueden enviar para solicitar más información. ¿Okay? Entonces, creo que con eso cedo la palabra para la próxima presentación. Muchas gracias.
Vamos bien. Así. La foto, ¿qué pasó, Claudio?
Bueno, y nos llevamos toda la información que nos ha provisto el señor Roberto sobre el tema de tecnología, operaciones e infraestructura. Ahora le voy a pedir, vamos al próximo panel, que es el Mayoral Roundtable, y por ahí me parece que tengo a Josh Burciaga, quien va a ser quien dirija este panel. Bienvenido, pase por acá. Vamos a hablar sobre si es más interconectado. Las ciudades enfrentan el reto de transformarse en ecosistemas inteligentes capaces de responder a las necesidades de sus ciudadanos con soluciones sostenibles y centradas en las personas. Hablamos de movilidad urbana, de tecnología aplicada al transporte, sostenibilidad energética, pero también de inclusión social y de cómo garantizar que nuestras comunidades estén preparadas para los cambios que impone el siglo XXI, a George Burciaga del Mayor Round Table, y también nos acompañarán Leonard Williams y Shawin Patterson. Bienvenido, welcome.
All right, woo!
Si requieren traducción simultánea, pueden ir a buscar el aditamento para que lo puedan utilizar.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Puerto Rico! Woo! San Juan! Let's do this. First of all, let me thank Mickey for this incredible event. Thank you for inviting all of you. We've been doing this for a number of years in Puerto Rico, particularly San Juan, and we're excited to be here. We have incredible U.S. mayors with us today. Mayor Sean Patterson Howard of Mount Vernon. Everybody? Mayor Sean Patterson Howard of Mount Vernon. Okay. We also have Mayor Leo Williams of the city of Durham. Okay. So today's conversation is really around infrastructure and technology. So I'm going to take a second first to thank all of our mayors and city leaders here in Puerto Rico and across the Latin America that are here with us today. So thank you for that. Why don't you take a second, mayors, to introduce yourself, the city you're from. Tell us something about you, opposed to just being mayor, that maybe we don't know about.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here again. I had a great time last year. And what I can say is, Puerto Rico, you know how to party. You know how to have a great time.
Woo!
But you also know how to wake up in the morning and get the work done. And I'm grateful to be here. I am Mayor Leonardo Williams from Durham, North Carolina in the United States. And thank you. And something you may not know is I own several restaurants, and I love food, and I own a hotel in Africa as well as in my city. But my background is in education. So I have gone across the spectrum from being an educator to an entrepreneur and now an elected official. And that allows me to really see the broad scope of work that we all do and share in this room. So I look forward to discussing a bit more about how we impact the lives on a daily basis in our city. And I'll close with this. There's really not much difference in how we live on a daily basis, no matter geographically where we are. So I look forward to sharing some of the things that we're doing in our city, and I've learned so much since I've been here already. So thank you all who've been on stage already. Thank you.
Amazing mayor. Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, tell us a little bit about you.
Sure, my name is Shawn Patterson Howard. I'm mayor of the city of Mount Vernon. I am the first woman mayor in my community. First woman mayor. I also serve nationally as the president of the African American Mayors of the United States. Prior to becoming mayor, I served for many years as a social worker, overseeing work in HIV/AIDS, mental health, substance abuse, housing and housing affordability, of course, youth development, and gang prevention and intervention. So it was really, really interesting going from working in human services to running a city. And today I am the first re-elected mayor in 20 years. And so it's been a heavy lift, but we're continuing to do the work, and I'm really excited to have this conversation today.
Thank you, Mayor, for that. Let me also recognize the incredible mayor of San Juan for hosting this incredible event, and all the other mayors that are here. I also like to recognize we also have the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here. So if you want to do business in Illinois, we have the president here and his team with us today to be able to recognize how you can do more work in Illinois, Chicago. He's here now, Jaime, so please connect with him as well. And we have so many other U.S. mayors here with us today to make sure that you guys connect and collaborate. So I want to say that. Let's start real quick on infrastructure, technology, housing, public safety. Mayor Williams, you've made that a cornerstone in the work you're doing as mayor, the work you'll continue to do as mayor after this re-election. Tell us a little bit about how you've leveraged housing, public safety, and technology to support your role as mayor and the incredible work, because you and I have worked together and we've done a lot of incredible work. You've had the global leads for Dell Technology in your city. You host the largest innovation lab in the city, in your city, in the world for Dell Technologies. Tell us a little bit about your vision and your work and what you're going to continue to do.
Thank you for that question. You know, the reality is we all want to be able to live on a daily basis, and we want to be able to wake up in the morning, go to work, go to the grocery store, just the basic needs in life. But there's so many things that impact us on those journeys. If it's raining, you don't want it to necessarily flood your streets out, and that's something that we're dealing with here in Puerto Rico, but we're also dealing with it in North Carolina and in areas that we thought that we would never experience severe flooding. So infrastructure is extremely important. In Western North Carolina, in the mountains, where we have a lot of our sensitive supply for medical storage, where we store medicines, we did not think that we would have severe flooding in those areas, but climate change is real. And so as we are combating climate change, it's important that we enhance our climate action plans as well as our climate resilience plans. And we're merging those two initiatives to ensure that we are resilient and being able to utilize data, which is how we're incorporating AI, to be able to forecast better how we can respond or proactively prepare for weathers that we have never seen before in our lifetime. So how we build infrastructure out in our cities and our towns, even in our rural lands, that is very important. So really it's about utilizing data that is accessible to us. On the other side of that, it's all about a decent quality of life and being able to make sure that folks are safe. It goes beyond just having a police officer respond to a call. It's really about how do we monitor and analyze the daily journeys of life and how we can ensure that you can get from point A to point B safely. And that means being much more proactive, having the right type of response for the right time. So we're expanding our public safety apparatus to ensure that we have unarmed officers. We're taking mental health a lot more serious. And that's not a geographical matter, that is a human matter. So we're utilizing technology to put dashboards on websites so people can see how we're actually responding. When it comes to technological advances, yes, we have Dell Technologies' world's largest computer visioning center in the city of Durham. And we are being able to really enhance our capacity for technological advances, bringing Dell to the table, bringing NVIDIA to the table, bringing ARM to the table, worldwide technologies. And what we're saying is how do we make sure that we are incorporating their footprint in the heart of our cities to ensure that it not only supports our economy on the local level and national level, but also that you can grow into the fabric of where we're going as a society. And once again, that's not a geographical matter, that is a humanity matter. And if we can set those examples at our local level, imagine what we can do in developing countries like in Africa or in the Middle East. So my goal as mayor is to make sure that we can conceptualize a lot of these technological advances to be successful not only in Durham, but utilized elsewhere.
Yeah, Mayor, you make a lot of great points. In fact, while there's cities here in the audience, if you want to connect with both mayors to talk about how you work together, you should stop them and have that conversation. You mentioned a couple of things, particularly around AI. Mayor, I'm going to switch to Mayor Sean Patterson. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. While we were going to talk about maybe public safety first, you told me yesterday about the incredible work you're doing on procurement with AI, sharing information across departments. I think in Puerto Rico in general, whether it's San Juan or any other city across the United States, everybody's struggling with what you guys have started to resolve. Mayor, why don't you tell us a little bit about procurement, AI, technology, the work you're doing, and any other ideas around that subject?
Absolutely. So when I became mayor in 2020, I followed a mayor who had been there for 16 years, who was much older and didn't believe in computers and technology. And so our technology in our community didn't work at all. It always crashed. And so when COVID came, that gave us an opportunity to reset our government. And we brought in a program called OpenGov, which allows all of our departments to speak to each other on one platform. I know in your communities oftentimes, whether it's the building department or economic development or the planning department, youth services, everyone is so siloed. But we were able to find one digital platform that allowed us to speak across all of the platforms. And then, I don't know how many of you have issues with your building department, where your permits take a long time to get out, where the different departments are not coordinating and collaborating, and that impacts economic development. When you don't have predictability in your economic development, your building permits, your planning and land use areas, it makes it very difficult for people who want to come into your community and do business. There's lots of delays and the timelines aren't moving. And so we've been able to really coordinate all of our economic development, our building development, and our land use onto one platform that's able to assist our customers, because time is money. And even the soft costs that are associated with ramping up a project and those delays can cost people not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands and millions, depending on the project. And so we've been able to use some AI to help our developers, our financiers, our contractors engage with the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. We're using chatbot, but as you saw in the last presentation, there can be problems with that. But the more you put information into it, the more it will learn and it will speak to your customers in the way that is consistent and in line with what your government is doing. And in different languages. And so then one of the challenges that you are going to have in municipal government is your staff, who is always overwhelmed. Does anyone in here have staff that's overwhelmed and feel like they're doing too much work for far too little money, right? And so oftentimes when they're looking at AI, they're thinking that AI is going to replace their jobs. No, AI is just going to allow them to become more efficient and take some of the stress off of them so that they can provide the high quality of services that they're used to, that they don't have to be screamed at by our residents and our business partners and our different constituents, and they can get the work done. And so we are really looking forward to more of that. In our Department of Public Works, it's allowing us, using AI, is allowing us to see where we need to do street repairs, sewer repairs, water repairs, things of those nature with our infrastructure that's underground. We don't always have to wait for a water line to fail for us to know what's going on. And as our mayor just said, in Mount Vernon, we're dealing with a lot of flooding. The 100-year storms are now coming twice a year. And we've been able to use a pro city to see what might be bubbling up. Now the sensors give us early information so we know where to deploy our resources. And so with government, we're expected to do more with less constantly, and we're constantly criticized. I don't know if you how you deal with social media, but if someone floods, if someone's garbage isn't picked up, if someone has a pothole, then they're all over social media trying to destroy you and your municipal leaders. And so using AI to even engage and let us know what's happening on some of the social media platforms, it helps us to respond, because none of us can just look at social media all day and respond to our constituents.
No, I completely get it. Now I wanna tee up, there's a video that we're gonna play from one of our other mayors who could not be here today. And Mayor, thank you for that response around technology. I think the procurement response is something everybody in this room is dealing with. But I want to make sure before we run out of time, we recognize Mayor Rex Richardson of Long Beach, who couldn't be here because of weather, but wanted to leave a few words for Experiencia Puerto Rico and all of the mayors of Puerto Rico and everybody that's attending today. So go ahead and play it.
Hi, I'm Rex Richardson, Mayor of the city of Long Beach, California. And I'm honored to support Experiencia Puerto Rico 2025, taking place August 17th through 19th in San Juan in Carolina. And while I can't be there in person, I know this gathering will be a powerful moment for U.S. city leaders to explore how innovation, technology, and economic development can transform our communities for the better. I want to recognize the incredible efforts of U.S. Roundtable and the outstanding leadership of the mayors of Puerto Rico for for making this event possible. We wish it the very best. In Long Beach, we're committed to inclusive innovation and building a future where every resident has the opportunity to thrive. This is a moment to come together and share ideas and lead with purpose. I know Puerto Rico is ready to welcome you and inspire the path forward, because when cities lead with innovation, communities rise together with opportunity. Thank you.
Well, that was a quick message from Mayor Rex Richardson from Long Beach, who wanted to thank Mickey and the team for the incredible work, the mayors of Puerto Rico, the mayor of San Juan, and everyone else. I also want to send a shout out to Alexander, who's the technology lead for San Juan. I know he's in here as well. He's a dear friend of mine. He showed up to show support. We're gonna move into public safety. Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, tell us a little bit about the transformation you've created, and then we're gonna move over quickly based on time. Give us a little bit of information, we have about 9 minutes left, about what you're doing, the transformation, and then we'll move over to Mayor Williams as well.
Yes, so with public safety, again, we're not seeing as many people go into the field of policing, and it's also hard to retain your police officers. And that's very difficult when your constituents want you to be everywhere and do everything all at once. And so we've been able to really increase the use of technology in public safety. We have created in our community a real-time crime center. We call it our Aware Room, and we're using more cameras throughout the city. Not just cameras for crime, but you also have contractors who like to dump their construction materials on the side of the road. I just saw the face going, yes. And so we have cameras in those places where people are doing dumping, cameras in our parks and our playgrounds and our public spaces, cameras in our municipal buildings. We also gave out cameras to our residents because we wanted our residential neighborhoods to be safe. Oftentimes, people put cameras in neighborhoods where there's a lot of crime, but with Amazon expanding and more people shopping online, you're having more porch pirates. When packages are delivered to people's homes, people are taking the packages off the porches. And so in some of our non-high crime neighborhoods, we're seeing increased problems with quality of life. And quality of life issues are important. And so that's why we're putting a lot of doorbell cameras in our neighborhoods so that we could improve quality of life. And we're not just talking about drugs or shooting or violence and things of that nature. We're also engaging license plate readers so that if people are committing crimes, right, with the license plate readers. So if people are committing crimes, we can see how they enter our community, how they're moving throughout our community. To make sure that our police are policing well and our residents are not lying on the police, we're using more body-worn cameras, more dashboard cameras, their tasers. If they pull out their taser, it automatically makes their body cam and their dashboard camera go off to make sure that there is no abuse of residents and that residents also are not lying on the police abusing them. We're doing so much around technology because we're not just looking to solve crimes, but to prevent crimes and to improve quality of life throughout the community. So with technology, and I know I just have a few more seconds left, we've also dealing, I don't know how many of you have a mental health crisis in your community, how many of you are dealing with unhoused or homeless residents. We've created a bureau within our police department that deals, I told you I was a social worker, right? And so we have created a bureau that deals strictly with mental health, substance abuse, homeless, domestic violence, elderly, youth, and our veterans. And these are trained police officers who go out and they are first responders along with some of our community's mental health professionals. And they're also capturing the work that they're doing on camera because we know far too often when you're dealing with these specialized populations for which our police are not necessarily trained to deal with, those can escalate into something very, very different. And so we call that our wellness division with our trained police officers, our social workers, our mental health counselors are going out and providing services to our residents. And so we have to deal with the social issues because if we don't deal with the social issues, it will impact all of the economic development and the transformation that we're trying to do in our community. So we have to have an air, land, and sea approach to everything that we're doing.
Real quick, one, thank you, because that's incredibly powerful. The thing I wanted to say before Mayor Williams answers the public safety question is the U.S. Roundtable works with mayors across the world to rethink how we use technology to transform our cities. So if there's anything that we can do to be helpful, please let us know. We also get to work with great organizations like the National League of Cities, who's here, who's a major sponsor, and mayors like the mayor of Carolina, who is completely changing the way we move forward. So we want to say thank you to them, the African American Mayors Association, U.S. Conference of Mayors. Thank you for all of your support. Mayor Williams, tell us a little bit about public safety, the transformation, and the change you're making in your city.
Thank you for that. In the city of Durham, I have a mission to ensure that we're a leading city when it comes to public safety. And I want to make sure that we have the most progressive and most robust public safety apparatus in the entire nation. And in order to keep people safe, you have to know what causes harm. And so we're addressing the root cause of issues. We're looking at, what are the root causes that are causing someone's behavior to divert to a negative outcome. And with that being said, we have created also, we're getting a real-time crime center like you guys, but we created a separate department called the Department of Community Safety. And not only are they addressing homelessness and folks that are sleeping on the streets, reducing that homelessness because that's part of the actual root cause, we're also going into investing into nonprofits. One thing that I'm really proud of as mayor, I launched the Bull City Future Fund. The city of Durham is intimately known as the Bull City. And I personally raised $1 million to invest in nonprofits that are already doing the work and catching these young people before they get into an environment that creates bad habits. So we are proactively building up an environment that supports our young people. We are addressing the homelessness issue, but also the mental health. As Mayor Patterson Howard stated, the mental health issues are real. And so this unarmed, holistic, empathetic response assistance team, HEART is what it stands for, and it's addressing some of these rugged issues from the heart. Again, HEART stands for Holistic Empathetic Assistance Response Team. We send those folks out. When you call 911 in a crisis or emergency, we embed that unarmed assistance program into our 911 center.
Got it.
You don't know that you're calling them. You're calling to state your problem, and we are providing the best solution for you. And so we're able to address root causes. We're able to go and do retroactive check-ins to make sure that you're not repeating the same issue. And so that's really helping us out. And with the Real-Time Crime Response Center is allowing us to know where things are happening, when they are. And so we're taking a much more proactive, much more holistic approach to public safety. And all of that we're utilizing, in closing, we're utilizing the relationships like with U.S. Roundtable of Mayors. We're using the research that's coming from the National League of Cities to make sure that we are well supported, well informed on the resources that are out there, and it's allowing us to learn from other municipalities as well. And that is how crime is down in our city, 26% right now.
Wow, woo! That's incredible. The thing I want to do before we leave, I want to thank both of you, because not only are you inspiring mayors of your own city, but as National League will tell you, as the African American Mayors Association will tell you, as U.S. Mayor Roundtable will tell you, you're inspiring leaders across the country. So I want to thank you for the fight you're fighting, standing up for those who can't, and really making the transformation that we've been working towards. I need to acknowledge that, because you two do that extraordinarily well, and all the other mayors. Earlier today, I was on the phone with Mayor Suarez for a quick meeting, Mayor Bibb, waiting for a call back from Mayor Andre Dickens of Atlanta, a number of others where they all wished this conference well. They all wanted to make sure that this conference was moving in the direction of transformation, and the expansion that Mickey mentioned and going into other countries occurs. Everybody wishes you well. I just want to end on a note saying thank you to all the mayors of Puerto Rico. Oh yeah, and well, go ahead, Mayor, please let us know.
So I want to let you know, all of us are municipal leaders. Everyone in this room is serving on a municipal level. And as municipal leaders, we know that we are the individuals who are boots on the ground, who have to deal with the real issues. And please know that in the United States and all across our communities, we are standing and we are trying to, we understand that we're in the business of people, whether they're immigrants, whether they're US born, whether they're old, whether they're young, and the Hispanic Latino population in all of our cities is growing and growing like never before. And we are fighting and we are working to make sure that they are treated with dignity, to make sure that they are respected and protected, to make sure that we are running a government that is focused on dignity and compassion. And while we do not always have control over our federal leaders, please know that on a municipal level, our mayors across the United States stand ready to work with mayors across the globe in ensuring that rights and dignity and compassion is what we lead with and what we focus with. And so please do not judge America based on some of our leadership. Judge America based on the people who are working the hardest, and those are the municipal leaders across our country. God bless you, Dios te bendiga, and take care.
Thank you.
Bueno, un fuerte aplauso a este panel y agradecemos ese respaldo, definitivamente. El tema de la dignidad desde los municipios, desde las ciudades de Estados Unidos al resto de Latinoamérica. Muchas gracias a ustedes. Thank you, George. Vamos a pasar ahora a el panel de innovación que transforma y vamos a tener al moderador.
Oigan, estamos ya en la etapa final, quedan 2 presentaciones. Queda esta, que es de tecnología, y queda la próxima, que es de vivienda. Ambas predomina el inglés. Busquen siéntanse en la comodidad de pedirle a la cabina los audífonos, aquellos que quieran sentirse más cómodos entendiendo el difícil. Manténganse con calma, ya posteriormente, a las 4:30 estamos terminando. Luego entonces visitan los exhibidores. Hay unas reuniones puntuales de legisladores municipales abajo, o concejales o regidores, y luego entonces la fiesta comienza a las 6:30. Entre 6:30 y 9:30 es la fiesta. Algunos querrán irse al hotel y no venir a la fiesta. Otros querrán quedarse aquí. Y algunos querrán irse y volver. Irse y volver es complicado porque pueden irse, pero no va a haber transportación para que vuelvan. Por lo tanto, tienen que decidir qué van a hacer. Bien, muy bien.
Bueno, anotadas las próximas instrucciones de la tarde. Vamos a contar en este panel con el moderador Fernando Arnaiz, actual presidente del Instituto Arnaiz de España. Es un comunicólogo con más de 25 años de experiencia en desarrollo urbano. Ha dirigido numerosos trabajos de estrategia territorial, económica, medioambiental y social para asociaciones y organizaciones privadas, así como administraciones